Welcome back, lazy gamers. Welcome back to ARA History Untold. I want to experiment with some difficulty levels here, and I want to start this test game with a random leader, pick my other 5 civs, but I want to vary their difficulties and see what happens. Now, by default, if I start at Emperor level difficulty, all the other AI civs also start at Emperor level difficulty, which I don't think means the same or works the same way as for the human player. I think it's exactly inverse. When you start at Emperor and the AI starts at Emperor, I believe, and we will be confirming this very shortly, but I believe that the AI pretty much starts off at the easiest possible setting. And really, when you switch the AI difficulties down the ranks from Emperor all the way down to like Esquire, it actually gets harder for the AI to keep up with you. Which is why when we had those test games playing at the easiest levels, you don't have to do much. You literally do almost nothing, and still you are head and shoulders above the AI as far as prestige is concerned. So in this particular situation, we're going to keep our difficulty setting at Emperor, but we are going to mix up the AI settings. I'm going to start off with 2 of these with Esquire, 2 of these with Prince, and only 1 at the Emperor level difficulty. So what I'm expecting is that in the game, when we see the national rankings pop up, I believe that event will happen at some point in the first 50 turns. When that happens, I'm expecting Yas and Teva, if you have met her, or it'll pretty much say an unknown civ. One civ will have like a boatload of prestige. 2 of them will be middle of the pack, and the other 2 who are Esquire will probably be maybe even be below us actually, depending on how the game is going. Yeah, I want to test this out and confirm if what I'm actually thinking about is actually the way it's going to play. Now, a quick word on Emperor level difficulty. It is the highest difficulty in this game that you can play at. Pretty much all your quality of life stats are locked at 30. What that does is, because quality of life stats are the things that actually drive your population growth, your production, your science, everything, you're going to start off on quite a back foot here. And on Emperor games, I don't expect the game to be very forgiving here. Your main goals starting out at Emperor should be to raise your quality of life stats as soon as you can, as best as you can too. Yeah, not all amenities are equal, and you need to make the best combination that's going to help your individual use case. It's one of those balancing acts that I'm not sure I have figured out completely yet. But yeah, as you can notice here, the time it takes to build a scout and a workshop or anything else that you're building here will be so much longer, simply because our quality of life stats actually are pretty poor. The interesting thing tactically is, because your quality of life stats are poor and wonders are one of the best ways you can raise these, I think like trying for timed planned rushes for certain wonders is probably more viable or more important on higher difficulties than it is on lower ones. I mean, on lower difficulties, it is quite easy to get wonders. Having a strong way or having a reliable way to get wonders on higher difficulties will actually be very useful. And maybe the strategy for all Emperor games should be to open with a plan to get a wonder ASAP. I still don't understand why some spawns I seem to have an abundance of resources, while in some games I tend to be I tend to spawn near land which does not have too many resources, and I don't know if it's a function of the difficulty yet, or quite possibly the calculation for what makes a land strong might just be dependent on all the resources, and since we are in Act 1, we haven't unlocked more than half the resources. Whether your land is helping you out in Act 1, or whether your land appears resource rich or not, by the time Act 3 arrives, I think it will kind of balance out. That's my assumption. I mean, I don't have an insight into how the map generation tool works. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, this unknown civ at 824 is most likely Yas Anteva, because her difficulty level was set to Emperor, which would pretty much give her the most handicap possible. 2 of them in the 300s, 2 of them in the 200s. We are at 208. So number 4 and number 6 are probably the ones that we started off at the Esquire difficulty, while number 2 and number 3 are the ones at Prince. And of course, yeah, Santeva number one is the highest difficulty, but at the easiest setting for the AI. So yeah, so you can, in theory, play an Emperor level game and set the difficulty of your opponents down such that they don't get the runaway effect that they would normally get if their difficulty was also set to Emperor. That's actually very good to know. I think knowing this, any future games I play, I think going forward, I will pretty much play Emperor level games or Emperor difficulty games, but I will adjust the AI Civ settings down a notch or two. Yeah, either Duke or Grand Duke, and see what kind of a balance we can get. Like, I don't want the game to be extremely easy, but I want to play in a way that I stay competitive through each act. And to be honest, I wonder if it would be helpful if the game added a feature or a setting where the inherent difficulty that the AI starts off with actually scales with how well the AI is doing in the game. Well, let's say we start a game at Emperor and the AI is also an Emperor. If like 50 turns elapse and all the AI civs are running away and we are falling behind, maybe the AI difficulty drops down a notch or two. And then maybe another 50 turns, it kind of readjusts. And that continues pretty much to the end of the game. Yeah, I mean, even if, let's say, we kind of come up from behind and we start eclipsing the AI, it still might be a fun game because then the AI difficulty would get easier for the AI, that is, when gives them a very strong chance of getting to eclipse us. I think some sort of a push-pull balance mechanic will actually work wonders for this game. Yeah, let's see. If we can set up a new game at Emperor and the other 6 civs are all Duke, let's see if that will actually pan out. So with this game, we are Cesar Beccaria, and I'm just going to play along maybe the first 50 odd turns until we get to the event that tells us what our relative prestige is. And if my guess is correct, since all AI civs are at Duke and we are at Emperor, I have a feeling that the prestige numbers are going to be very much all in the same bracket. I'm hoping that's the case. The difficulty I've chosen is Duke, and if they are pretty much all equal, I think all future games I play will be at Emperor difficulty with the AI difficulty settings, possibly at Grand Duke. That's what I'll aim for. Yeah, I went a little deeper here, and we are Emperor, the AI is at Duke difficulty, but we are still last in prestige, but not too far back from the entire pack. We are about 300 odd, just under 400 prestige away from number 5 and less than 1,000 away from number 1. So, just through experience, I know that if I continue these games, playing at Emperor level difficulty where the AI is at Duke, I will be eclipsing the AI or being in a winnable spot pretty much in the middle of Act 2. And of course, the RNG can happen, things can happen, but if I play sensibly, I'm expecting this was a very, very winnable setup. However, I think if I bump the AI difficulty to Grand Duke, it's going to be a tougher uphill climb, I expect. Interestingly, in the middle of this edit, I saw that the developers put out a note for future patches, and there is a preview build up on Steam if you want to play it. It's 141, that's the patch number. And I've been playing around with it. I have not seen the patch notes for this yet. I don't think those are out. But just from observation, what I'm noticing is you can upgrade units and reserves in this future patch, which is actually going to be huge. Like in the current release build, you can only upgrade your units when they are deployed in a formation or on their own. And that's pretty much the only way you can upgrade them. Having the ability to upgrade in the reserves is actually going to be very useful, and it's definitely going to improve your game overall. The other minor thing I noticed was jewelry crafting accelerators can use materials instead of ivory in the third slot, that is. And ivories move as an option in the first slot along with the precious metals. I think it's a balance change. I think it makes you more likely to want to craft jewels if you don't have the necessary accelerators in your empire. Yeah, it might be good. Yeah, but I'll continue playing on 141 and try to see if there are any obvious glaring differences and changes. And if there is something, maybe I can do a test game with the new patch and see how things look. All in good time though. Thank you for watching, and definitely tune into the next one.